October 29th. Happy Halloween soon, everybody. Who the fuck cares? Today my rental expires, my rental coverage from my insurance company. I'm waiting to hear back. I called yesterday. They're gonna talk to my insurance adjuster, or my insurance adjuster has to talk to his supervisor and see if they'll extend my rental coverage, because I still don't have money for my car from my insurance company. Turns out I have to mail the title in. That's what I thought. I thought that's what someone told me on the phone, and she said she'll email me with information about that. She sent me an email. I clicked the link in the email. It said, "You're done. You don't have to do anything." I was like, what? I waited a day because I didn't really think about it. Then I'm like, my rental expires soon. I'm gonna call them and find out what's going on. I called Saturday. Their salvage department was closed. Called again yesterday, and they said, yeah, I have to mail it in. I was like, damn. I called them like 10 minutes before the post office closes. So I'm gonna send the title out today. And by the way, they have a regular mail for getting titles and overnight mail. No, or like it said overnight. But what the hell difference does that make? I can't even understand it. I can send it overnight to either one, but what does the overnight mean on one? I was so confused, I didn't even know how to ask the question. Like, well, what difference does it make if I mail it to the one office that says overnight? There's someone working there, or there are people working there 24 hours a day? I had no clue what that meant. And I took pictures of the title too, just in case it's lost in the mail. I'll still have them. Getting my exercise in. I kind of wanted to work out at the gym, but I don't want to risk hurting my ribs again. They still are sore. It still does hurt to yawn. Oh, so here's the topic of the video. Things I hate about Virginia. I was just thinking about this. I don't know why. Maybe the year of being homeless is catching up to me, and I'm thinking about when I went homeless in my car on October 31st. So first of all, I'll talk about what I like about Virginia. What I like about it, the cheap gas prices. Now, let's move on to what I hate about it. One, everything is small. I used to think it was kind of a, happening big area. Nah, being in LA, and even DC, it's like, yeah, it's kind of a happening place. There's a lot going on, and that's more true for DC, but it's nothing compared to Los Angeles. Here, if I wanted, there could be film events I go to every single night. There, it's like just barely, tenuously held together. Like, yeah, there's always stuff to do, but it's so small. Small buildings, small streets, the sky's small because you frequently got storms and clouds. It's not like here the sky's big because there's not much weather. You can see the smoke, I think. The haze of smoke. Maybe it's fog, because it was foggy. But that could be a haze of smoke from the massive and scary wildfires. I hate how everything's small. The concerns are small. The roads are small. The opportunities are small. It's just sad to me. I hate that about it. I thought I'd really enjoy being back there. Like, oh, it's this little escape to this quaint place when I went back there for a few days. No, I absolutely hated it. It was so depressing and disturbing. And it still kind of distresses me. Like, man, I wish I didn't go back that time. It was really upsetting. Another thing I hate, Annandale. Absolutely hate it. It's so miserable. It's so sad. There's no entertainment. People aren't going, like, nobody's in a good mood, basically. I mean, yeah, they were, but it's so sad. It's like you're pushing through so much depression there because there's nothing to do. People aren't going around with any entertainment there. Oh, they had a bowling alley. There's nothing to do for fun. It was so fucking sad. Hated it. The traffic was terrible, and again, with the small streets, there was tons of traffic, but there weren't as many streets to go on. I used to think Northern Virginia and DC, it's kind of a big area, it's a metropolitan area, and really it's nothing compared to here, because here you have tons of massive highways. There you have, like, going east and west, there's 66. In a lot of places, 66 is 2 lanes. At some points, you go a little further west, it extends into 3, maybe 4 lanes, but, oh, and Route 50, that goes east and west as well. That gets down to like a small little winding country road once you get to some mountains. That's really kind of scary to drive at night because people still like driving fast. The aggressive drivers in pickup trucks who drive those roads, those Woodbridge roads, those Western County roads, especially at night, and they drive fast and they don't like you driving slow on them. If you don't know them and they're winding and it's dark, it's pitch black. The angry white supremacists there, angry white guys, just this douchebag culture there of furious white guys all the time, angry when they go anywhere. I worked in bars so much, dealt with them there. White supremacist cops, military police. I dealt with so many people at my bar who were off-duty cops or military police or military who would threaten me, threaten others, threaten fights. One off-duty cop pulled out a taser and pointed it at someone, and I didn't even want to fight him because I was like, oh man, this, even with him being drunk and all, it could be very bad for me. And I wasn't trying to fight, I was just trying to defuse the situation. So I stood right in front of him while he was pointing a taser at another guy. I said, put that thing down, man. And he ran out of there. Just a lot of angry people, tons of don't tread on me license plates. Those are white supremacist signs. Confederates, people with their stupid love it or leave it shirts and Confederate flag shirts. Just garbage, man. People who truly hate. They're just like the Klans people of those old newsreel footage documentaries who say like, oh no, I love my black neighbors, and then they'll go on a racist screed against black people. So they're just like that. I swear, there was a guy who came up to me after this guy pointed a gun. He said, what color was he? Yeah, the racism disgusts me, the whole Southern pride, Confederate pride, and a bunch of these guys were losers anyway. So many guys they'd be real nice, but that's all they were. It's like nice Nazis, and they'd be friendly, and then, or some of them just weren't nice and weren't friendly, just were mean assholes, or racist as hell. Couldn't wait. This one guy, he's always this mean son of a bitch at this one bar I worked at in Fairfax. Big, huge white guy. Every thing about him was big. He was tall. His legs were big. His arms were big. His head was big. He'd just come in angry. And if the bartender stepped away from the bar for 2 minutes to go to the bathroom or something, he'd be like, what the hell? Why is there no bartender here? And one time he started ranting at me about how he didn't like how they were plowing the snow in the parking lot, asking who was doing that. I said, I don't know, probably someone contracted by property owner or maybe the city, if the city owns the parking lot. He was telling me what's wrong with it. Then he starts telling me about how he doesn't like doing business with Indians and Jews, and he says how he's like, I don't know if you're Jewish, and then he goes into his rant about him. I didn't ask for any of that. The 89-year-old Baptist pastor I lived with, that fuckhead, homophobic as shit. And yeah, it's sad that he was living, in the closet, double life, but he was also a creep. Another thing I hate, the rent, the living expenses. Basically, except gas is cheaper than here. Yeah, groceries probably cheaper than here too. But I don't know if they're really that much cheaper. And probably not. But you're paying in rent there about what you're paying here in LA. Only there's much less there to pay that you're getting for it. So basically, you're greedy if you live there. This is not a place where you go for your dreams. It's a place where dreams die, meaning Virginia. There's nothing that great there. It is just it depresses me and stresses me out to think about and remember. But you're paying rent there. I looked it up in Arlington. The average one-bedroom apartment rent went up from $1,600 some dollars a month to over $1,900 a month. Or wait, was it $1,400? So I'll put it on screen, I forget exactly. But it went up by $300 a month within a few months. And that's the average. And not only that, to find a room in a place where you have roommates and try and have your own private bathroom, even $1,000, most places will not get you that. So you're still going to be living, you pay $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year, just because I want to be there. I like it. It's my favorite place. And I realize the hypocrisy of me doing that, and me being there, be like, I can't do this, I can't support this. Then I'm just as guilty as anyone else, because that was really my mentality as well. I know it's expensive here, but maybe I'll just get rich and then I'll be able to afford living here. But I was so limited in what I could do with my videos. There's people making videos and stuff out there, but it's nothing like here, nothing like the opportunities here. So at least here, yeah, it's very expensive, and that's deeply unfair, and it's not just an accident. When these rich douchebags on the radio say, like, why did poor people come here if they couldn't afford to live here? They shouldn't be here if they're poor. The Dr. Drew's co-host was saying essentially that message. She was saying, why should I feel sympathy for this young couple in this news article that came here and didn't meet the landlord of the place they were going to rent, then didn't have enough money for another place and didn't have jobs lined up? I'm sorry, why should I pay for that? So she's just saying poor people shouldn't live here, and they should have to die miserable deaths, because that's what being homeless on the street is, in long term or short term, is just having to slowly die because you can't get proper food, medical treatment, protection from disease, protection from violence, protection from the police, from sweeps that take your prescription drugs, that take your government documents, protection from being arrested. So anyways, in Virginia, you're paying all this money, and it's just for the location, to be close to DC. And because there's government contractors there, it's like half the workforce around DC and Northern Virginia is government contractors. So many government contractor buildings, so many arrogant white douchebags, so much entitlement mentality among them. Like, I'm white, I earned it too, I worked hard for it. Actually, let me tell you, poor person, I'm an expert in what you need. You see, I'm white, that makes me an expert. Let me help you. Maybe you should work harder. And if you don't want to be poor, be rich. You didn't think about that. See, you're too entitled. You thought everyone owes you something. Now here, I'm going to make it impossible for you to live poorly, because I'm going to support politicians who will do business with landlords and let them zone land for high-income housing, kick out poor-income housing. Oh, let's bring Amazon here. Let's give billions of dollars to them. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We can't help you, poor person. That's not right. We got to help Jeff Bezos. Here, Jeff Bezos, please, please don't regret your decision to come here. We need you here. It's business. It's good business. Doesn't matter how it affects poor people. Why did they be poor if they wanted that? Don't listen to them, please, Mr. Bezos. Don't feel inconvenienced by them. I am so sorry we still have poor people here. Fucking assholes. Yeah, so you're paying all this money to live there just for the location. And it's not a great location. Metro's always breaking down. Good thing is they do have a lot of buses and stuff that run there. It was kind of nice to take the bus once in a while. When I had to. The metro's crappy. It can be deadly. Things just don't get... Escalators take like a year at a time to get fixed. Parts don't work. They order the wrong stuff. The metro's losing millions and millions of dollars that they don't know where it's going. And they're doing all kinds of repairs and track work and stuff. Another thing I hate about it. It is so damn crowded. You think LA's crowded, but at least it's big. You can go kind of anywhere in the region around LA, and there's something exciting or cool about it. Or you can get film work there. Virginia, just fucking crowded, and there's not much infrastructure. There's not many roads to really get around. There's only like a few to get certain places. Now that may be true in LA as well, but you see, they went big. Even though, yes, it's very crappily run and shoddily maintained, and a lot of corruption and all the stuff I was talking about, be giving deference to rich people there in Virginia to exploit the poor, happens here as well. It's amazing how conservatives think like leaders here are like communists. Why don't they point out that, you know, all this money's going back and forth between landlords and developers, big companies, and politicians? Why don't they say that? Because they don't want to be honest. It really is about just beating up poor people to them. It's an ideological like thing that makes them feel self-righteous. They don't care about the consequences. That's why they can't answer for them. You ask them, they just won't answer. They'll say, well, why are immigrants here? Why are we giving benefits to immigrants? Want to blame other poor people and act like they're different from yet other poor people, as if they gave a damn about poor veterans here, homeless Americans. They don't give a damn. They hate them. So much of that mentality is in Virginia. Another thing, the Planet Fitness is there, for the most part, really like gross to be in. The locker rooms, oh man, they are fucking nasty. Several of them, basically. There was really only one I would want to go to, because the rest are like, locker rooms are gross, the lockers were too small, the showers were gross, the showers were the worst. There's one, now the staff were pretty good. The staff were like on point about cleaning a lot. They generally are in Planet Fitness. That's why it's one place I prefer to go to take a dump, because they're just, the toilets are usually clean. As opposed to McDonald's or something. Oh man, no, you don't want to be caught there. But the showers there, I swear it was like something out of the movie Alien, like the hibernation pods. Like it's just carved into a wall, this like sort of oval, and you just step inside it, and it's like, it really is like this weird science fiction set. But that means the air and stuff is trapped in there, and it's built like, it is so bizarre. Literally just like 4 of them along the wall, and it's just carved into the wall, meaning it's not like a stall where there's like walls coming out or to like separate you from the next shower stall. It's just carved into the wall itself. And so you can imagine all this air is trapped in there, and it's so, and you got this thing over your head. It's so low, it's so creepy. I never wanted anything to touch me while I was in there. Now there was that one Planet Fitness, the one in Fairfax. That one was nice. It's up on the 2nd story, big, and it seemed to become less and less busy when I was there. So when, like, if I would go, and I wouldn't go early, but when I would go there, there's always like showers there. The showers are big, luxurious, fake tile. It's like plastic, but so nice there. Only bad thing, you have to walk up a flight of stairs to get to it, and it's always awkward when somebody's coming out the door and you're going into the door or whatever. I always worry about that, like someone's gonna expect me to hold the door open, or be mad if I don't hold it open. Whenever people try and hold doors open for me, I always say, I got it, don't worry about it. Or I say, I got it, go ahead. Because I don't like people feeling, I don't want them to think I'm gonna get mad at them if they don't hold open the door. And some people just look at you like you're their servant, where there's the other door and they just wait for you to open one. So you're paying so much for nothing. There's nothing particularly great about it. Oh yeah, we go to the bar, go to happy hour and stuff. Most of the cities around there are pretty much suburbs. Woodbridge, you go further out like Leesburg, Falls Church, Fairfax especially, that bored the hell out of me. I lived there for 6 months. Couldn't take it. Everything just so small. Again, it's like small dreams. And then on top of that, like I said, you have the traffic where you only have a few highways going anywhere. And I used to think they were big, but now I can see how small they are compared to here in LA. It's just sad to see like this small mentality. And on top of that, they charge like some of the highest tolls in the country on 66 now, or $4.95. I can never figure it out. But sometimes people pay like $20-$30 a day in tolls, because it's variable pricing. So they just, I don't know they just charge whatever. Every concern, every innovation, we're gonna bring in Jeff Bezos, we're gonna bring in Amazon here. It's so small time, it's so pathetic, and it's not really helping people. Now there are good people there who do want to help. You know, people concerned with tenants' rights, immigrants' rights, poor people's rights, abortion rights, being able to have affordable housing, being able to have, you know, workplace protections, quality jobs. It's another thing I hated about there. Working. Now that's a problem anywhere, but thank goodness I've not had a job in a while. Like just a regular day job, because I fucking hated it. I was so lonely, working nights. That wasn't even my worst job, really. I managed to do that 5.5 years. Other jobs I had, I got more fed up with, or I knew I would have gotten fed up with if I had even others. Before that, I washed cars for a while. Got sick of that. the fucking angry white people I worked with, meaning my coworkers. I was like, oh wow, you forget we're in the South when you're around Northern Virginia. Just fucking angry, mean guys. Would spit, one guy would slam the phone down on customers, or he did it once, but I'm just like, man, this is not, I realized how alienated I was getting from everyone. Like, yeah, I have no interest in getting these people's approval. I have no need to be among them as their peer, and it's weird to just be there. And then the indignity of them knowing, like my bosses knowing how little money I made and how I was getting by. And back then, I didn't even think about moving out of my parents' house because I didn't even know you could get roommates. This is how insulated I was. I didn't even know you could just rent a room with roommates. I thought you need an apartment if you live on your own, and you have to have a lot of money to do that. So I just stayed with my parents for a couple of years. Man, I mean, kind of wish I'd left earlier because I didn't even know. I didn't think about it. By the time I dropped out of college, I was just drifting. Meaning I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. Yeah, I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker, but my mental illness was kicking in to where I couldn't even do that. I was just really sad, trying to figure out anything I could do, and had no ambition, no drive. Again, because my mental illness, like, it took all that from me, where I just felt nothing. I couldn't feel myself. It was horrible, man. That's not even the time I was disabled, but this period lasted for a year, and it was so hurtful in a way just because I was numb. I couldn't feel. I desperately wanted to feel anything about myself. I just could not. I was in so much pain, but I wasn't disabled. In a way, in some strange way, being disabled was not as difficult as that, because at least then it was like, it somehow seemed like part of being disabled was, it was like my mind or my body fighting against this mental illness. In 2007, 2008, when I was just numb, it was horribly painful because I could not enjoy anything. And I was like, holy crap, what do I do to feel like myself again? At least when I slipped out of that 9 months of being disabled, I started being able to recover on my own. That year of being numb, nothing really was doing that. I had to basically end up getting into a terrible situation, a very abusive situation. I've talked about this, where somebody sent an email to the police pretending to be me, saying I was going to hurt this woman I got involved with, and that was already messed up because I was so out of it mentally. And it was all long distance too. I never even met her, but it was messed up because it was like there was no healthy boundaries. Like, I was like, oh, okay, well, someone likes me, whatever. Like, I couldn't really feel anything. And it was only the few months of like that, abuse and difficulty that sort of made me become myself again. And even then it was very difficult. I hated myself. But I forget what I was talking about regarding Virginia. But yeah, I was just drifting, so I didn't think to get a place, and but I didn't know what to do with myself. So I was just kind of drifting for a couple years and not realizing what effort I should put into being a filmmaker. It's tough, but I had to learn it in a way. I was late to learn all that stuff because I just didn't know. And as a teenager, I didn't think I'd ever be anything. Or yeah, I wanted to be a filmmaker, but I had no idea how to relate to people, how to deal with anything. So I had no idea how to deal with any problems, literally any kind of interpersonal problems. I had no clue how to manage them. So I just kept to myself. So it's too expensive, too crowded. You're paying to be around a bunch of arrogant rich douchebags, and there's just nothing. I'd say really that's it. It's just nothing. Annandale, Springfield, Falls Church, sort of a little bit. Tyson's Corner sucks. McLean sucks. Fairfax sucks. Leesburg sucks. What's the one with the S? Now I can't remember. Ashburn sucks. That's a big. Sterling. That sucks. Ashburn, all those places. Reston are really sad to me. Really sad because they're all, and I used to go out there and shoot real estate videos, or occasionally I'd buy something on Craigslist and I'd meet someone out there to buy it. Like I bought a camera lens, I bought a wheelchair because I wanted to use that for dolly shots. And I would go out there and it is just houses. And yeah, there's a few shopping centers. But that was so sad to me to realize all that, like, wow, people pay still a ton of money to live out there, and a lot of them are like security experts, computer experts. They do stuff with technology companies, or they're government contractors, and I'm like, what kind of life is this? Just being in the suburbs, keeping everything small dreams, small environment, small change on the world, just everything small. So this is a 29-minute video. I've gone on long enough. I'm gonna get some more exercise out here. Also, the parks suck around there compared to here. And, you know, that's not, I don't know if that's necessarily anyone's fault. It makes me depressed even thinking of that. I really don't even like thinking about Virginia. It is so depressing. I know I'm planning on making my movie there, one of my movies at least. I'm doing that because I don't have to location scout a ton. I already know the region. Around here, I might have to go to one city, location scout. If it doesn't work out, another one. I don't want to take that time. Maybe I'd consider it, but Virginia, I already know what it looks like. I already know the areas there that generally I'd want to shoot in. I'd still have to, you know, go there, take pictures, little test video, and think, you know, plot it out in my head. I just can't take how small it is, and how expensive it is, and how crowded. I really think the traffic there is worse than here in LA. The only place I'd really say it can be worse here is right on the beach, like right at the Pacific Ocean in Santa Monica, because there's nowhere to go. So you can only go in one of like a few directions, but you can't go west. DC traffic, not just DC, it's really, you go out to suburbs like Fairfax, Leesburg and stuff, where there's only a few roads. I mean, there's roads but it's not a lot of roads, and everybody has to get on the roads. There's virtually no public transportation. Paying a ton to live out there, and it's just because you want to. No real dreams, aspirations, nothing. And I thought I'd enjoy it. Again, I was so distressed by it last time I was there. It gives me anxiety to think about going back. But, you know, I'm glad. Maybe I wouldn't appreciate LA as much if I hadn't lived in Virginia all my life. And when I go back to make my movie, I just want to, I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to think, just be drunk the whole time. I'm not going to do that. Focus on my work, not build up any expectations about enjoying being back there. And someday I'd like to get my parents to move out here. I'd like, maybe my mom could do catering on movie sets and make money out here doing that. Or we could do live shows, the Angelo's Mom Show. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.